Hello, and welcome once again to another episode of Third Action. I'm your lovely host, Jason, and these are the same three decapods that were here last week. In the bottom left, we have Asher Ford, Human Ranger, played by Char. Sorry, I was thinking and wasn't being cognizant of the words I was saying and wasn't sure if I fucked up, but now I have by going into this extended bit. Continue. Hello, Char.
Thank you. It has 9 legs now, though, or limbs. Gunn cut one off.
True. Or part of one. I guess it's mostly still there. In the bottom middle, we have Greshy Ironroot with all his limbs, I think, intact. Played
I should
by
hope so. I haven't taken any of them off yet.
For now.
Oh, hi, it's me.
Would you consider humans
the map
like
checks out.
double decapods? Because we've got like even more.
I was thinking about that. Well, they're decaphalangy, aren't they? But then we've also got the toes, which are also phalanges, I think.
Oh, get out of here.
Well, with 10 or 20 of those, depending on how you count, we've got Gunn Shough, Human Champion of Erastil, played by Adam.
Yep, and I can eventually make it to counting that high. Just give me some time.
Just gotta take the shoes off.
True. And we'll not go into... and I'm not gonna... continuing. Hello, chat. Hello, friends. Cool. Last time on Third Action, our group agreed to assist the quite friendly and lovable Morgiv, one of the spared, a former servant race of peoples who lived in the Thessalonian city of Zinshalast, who has been having trouble with some mysterious creature that his people call the Hidden Beast, some kind of being that has been capturing and enthralling his kin, and causing many to disappear. Eager to assist, our party goes straight with him to the Hidden Beast's lair, where they find his very visible body, a skeleton sitting in a chair, throne rather, on top of the giant stone slab. They attempt to attack it when it starts to move, but it turns out that it was all a ruse, and the skeleton was in fact being piloted by a tin-armed, invisible decapus, octopus thing, that also appears to be vampiric, as it has bitten and drained Gunn. I believe Gunn's at drain 3, correct?
Yeah, I just figured out how to get that on my sheet so that the max HP came off.
Nice.
Automatically.
Cool.
So
That's very nice.
So, I guess let's go ahead and just jump on in, because the party is still in the midst of combat. And so where we last left off, the party... So, the initiative order is the Hidden Beast at 50, the various spared around the room, the 4 of them go right after that, 36, 36, 32, 32. Then Greshy, then Gunn, then Asher, all at 29. Everybody bunched up for funsies. Cool. So yeah, the scene is the Decapus is had let go of the skeleton that was on the throne. I'm actually just going to remove it from the map so we don't. This is not in the way. But it had grabbed hold of Gunn. And Gunn had just managed to use freedom of movement to slip out of its grasp. One of the spared was also holding onto him, but he's kind of flanked in between them still. He is looking very pallid. He's got big bite marks in the back of his neck as blood is dripping from them onto the floor. Phelan in spirit form is just behind him, sandwiched, and then I guess sandwiched up against the wall is Asher with 2 spared on either side of him. One at the top of the stairs, one at the bottom, and Asher standing in the middle of the stairs, looking for a way out. But he's got his bow out, so maybe he's not looking for a way out. Maybe he's looking for a way in.
Maybe I like it here.
Greshy, meanwhile,
Jeez,
is...
are bold for that.
Greshy, meanwhile, I believe still has his weird shadowy form effect that makes him hard to look at. It has been dazzling some of the spared when they end their turns near him, and Phelan is in spirit form for another 7 rounds. Yes. All right. That was a lot of explanation to catch up. Let's go. The Hidden Beast's turn. Ooh, do I remember these icons? He was... Or it, rather. I don't know if it has a gender, particularly. I believe it is Enfeebled 2. It has 2d4 electricity persistent damage. And it is currently outlined. It has been made somewhat visible thanks to Greshy's fey magic. Sparkling it has caused it to kind of phase in and out slightly. And so you can now all see its hideous form. And Gunn, you've just slipped out of its grasp. And you watch as its many tendrils kind of slip around and away from you. But its eyes, as you notice, so this isn't like a normal octopus. It has a very large, toothy mouth and beady little white eyes. But the eyes like turn towards you, and they begin to grow and start glowing. And this wouldn't be the case if it was fully invisible, but since it is visible, I need you to roll a will save, please. Because now you can see it.
Rose.
Okay, well, I have a 35 on the will. Does this count as a spell or spell-like ability?
Yes, this is a spell or spell-like ability.
I'm going to add 2 with my reaction.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Making this
yes, this does count. 37, okay. That is just barely a success. That is exactly 37.
Crit.
Okay. So you feel you start to hear these like strange whispers start to enter your mind, and you're compelled to look at the creature, and you like try to turn your head away, but it's really, really difficult, and you just you all start to hear its like weird mutterings in some kind of language that I don't think any of you know. Does anyone have Abyssal?
Oh, no.
No.
Okay. So you just hear like strange just kind of echoing throughout the chamber as it's having this kind of stare down contest with Gunn. But Gunn, eventually you're able to kind of shake it off. And cool. You have broken its hold on you. That's its first 2 actions. Its third action is going to be sure, it'll still strike at Gunn. Is that what it's going to do? Just confirming. Yeah, we'll do a strike. Do I want to use points? Yes, sure. I'll use 9 points on this roll. Okay, well, I can add the 9 points. And maybe this will be a success.
Oh no.
Oh my.
What's your AC, Gunn? This is a 42.
It's 40. If I had if I had a second reaction to do a raised shield,
Okay.
It's
it would still be a hit.
So since wait, I don't think that helps still. This is a regular success on a critical failure. Or it got downgraded. It's just a regular failure. Yep. Okay. So it strikes at you with perfect precision, and you just managed. You actually like hold your ground, raise your sword just in time to catch the brunt of the strike, and just grunt as you're winded a bit, but you don't take any damage from the strike. Cool. That leaves the vampires' spawn friends all around the room. So first up is number 4, who's directly behind you. Sorry, 42, 44 still wouldn't matter because they would need to crit you to make it a auto success. Okay, so all right, number 4, who is behind Gunn. He is going to try and strike at Gunn again. This one is a nope, the number's right here. Where's my number? All right, there we go. That's a 34, 36 with flanking to hit Gunn. I will not hit.
We'll miss. Drained is just hit points, right? It's not.
It's hit points and fortitude saves. Yeah, anything constitution based.
Yeah.
It will then turn and try to swing at Greshy, who's right beside him.
All right, that's rude, but okay.
Is there any... You're not concealed, right? You're just hard to look at?
Well, actually, was this one dazzled by chance? I don't think it
this one was not
no,
dazzled.
I'm not concealed by anything.
Yeah, you moved into its right next to it at the end of your last turn, so it would have to end its turn here to trigger the effect, right?
Oh.
Then correct. I have no extra height or anything.
Okay, so this is a that plus that minus 4 for being agile, 40 to hit Greshy.
That'll hit. Mm-hmm.
Okay. We roll the dice.
I want to save.
That is 21 points of slashing damage. As it turns and claws at you.
Gunn does have a second reaction which can be used only for my champion's reaction, and I will use that now.
Okay.
Okay.
So it reduces it by 18, is that right?
Correct.
All right, so 3.
Assuming it...
Yes, it will still go through the strike.
Okay.
Then number 4 will become enfeebled and gain
so it is enfeebled.
The 4 charisma damage, or 4 good damage, rather.
Mm-hmm.
4 good damage. All right. Or the persistent. And the enfeebled from the other thing should also go down by 1. Oh shit! I forgot about the. I'm back in the game.
To save for that electricity.
Yes, the boss needs to save.
It's been a week.
Has been a week. That is a 3 and a 1 on the D4s. So that's. Oh, it is D4s, right?
I think it's 2d4 plus 1. I'll post it again.
If you would.
Okay.
It's 2d4 plus something at that level. I have it.
Shocking grasp.
Ignore that. That wasn't me. Or that was just for reference. I was trying to help. So at level 1d4 plus...
Oh, it's 1d4 plus 2 at 3rd level.
That's not rolling right at all.
Plus 1 at height.
Oh, it's 1d4
plus 2.
It
on the damage, and then the persistent damage is 1d4 plus
that's
the
right.
heightened amount, which
I
is
thought
2.
somebody did something that doubled the
2.
persistent damage, but is this from Shocking Grasp?
But it doesn't double
the crit.
The crit doesn't double the persistent damage, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No.
It specifically calls out it doesn't double the persistent
No,
damage.
so it only doubles.
Okay, I'm not sure. All right, I think I just.
So yeah.
I think I just did something silly when I wrote this down. Okay. I'm removing all my icons and forgetting what I'm doing. I'm a mess tonight. Okay, sorry. So let me just roll one of those dice then. That is still that's a 3 this time. So it will take the 5 points of electricity damage and roll a d20. That's a 9, so it keeps the electricity damage. Okay. Sorry, continuing.
I believe
this
Enfeeble
thing
doesn't go down, it just goes away.
Oh, your Enfeeble just goes away. Okay.
Yeah, at the end of turn.
All right. You'd think I'd know this after exposing myself.
It's been a week.
All right, back to this guy. He's got 1 action left. He did hit. You still took damage, right, Greshy?
I did. I took 3 points.
Okay, so he will grab hold of you with his 3rd action.
All right, that's not great.
So he will then take the 4 points of good damage. And then he needs to roll to see if he keeps the good damage. A natural 5 will keep the good damage going. Next one up is number 2.
He actually needs to make a DC 37 will save. Because he's still hanging out next to me since he decided to grab me.
That is plus that. Oh, wrong. 26 is a failure, or a crit failure even.
It's a critical failure. He is confused and dazzled until the end of its next turn.
Okay.
Can it still grab me if it's confused?
I mean,
Well,
it has you grabbed currently. It's just confused.
Okay,
I don't think that changes.
I don't know if it
Where
would
is
drop that
he?
automatically or not.
Not that I am aware of. Confused. All right. Cool. Right, next is number 2, which is directly in front of Gunn, right beside the throne. It will just leap out towards Gunn directly. Whoop. That is not going to hit on the natural 2. Try a different die. Second try. Actually, it's going to move behind. It's going to slip through this pillar here, or like behind the pillar, and around behind Greshy. It's going to go here. Yes.
As it starts to move away from Gunn, I'm banging on it with my shield, making it. Does it still have enough movement to make that full? Oh, it only has to go there. Then
Yeah, it's only going 5 feet, so.
I just sneak in a little bit.
when it moved that 15. But when it moved that last square, then I was like, aha, it might not. But I forgot it still has flanking where it's at. So
Yeah. So it's only moving a little bit. Okay, so yeah, it steps out of the way as Gunn tries to distract it to keep it from moving. But it will move into position diagonally across from Greshy and go for a strike. That is its number. That's a 34 to hit plus 2 from flanking. 36.
Misses.
Miss.
Still
Okay.
misses. I'm flat-footed because I'm grabbed, so.
Oh, that's true. So not
but that doesn't
entirely
stack with
necessary.
flanking, right?
I'm just saying, I'm already
correct.
flat-footed regardless of where he stands.
Yeah. Still going for it. So it just saw. It can see that its friend here is getting confused, so it's going to use its 3rd action to move a little bit more and block off your exit. It kind of moves into the tunnel that you guys entered from, and has its kind of arms out to either side to try and prevent anybody from running past. The next up is number 7, who is currently skirmishing with Asher on the stairs. This is the one at the base of the stairs below Asher. It will go for a strike. Natural 1, it's not going to hit. Second strike. That is a better number, -4. 37 to hit.
That is exactly a hit.
Okay.
It's done it.
We roll some
Which
damage.
one was talking, by the way?
Number 7. It is dazzled,
It's
right?
dazzled. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So it needs to be making checks on each of those attacks.
All right.
DC 5, I believe.
DC 5. I'll roll that publicly.
Just double checking. Dazzle, where are you?
That sounds right to me.
Yes, DC 5.
All right. DC 5. Come
May
on,
not
little
make a
guy.
difference.
All right, that was a 9.
On it.
Okay, so it will hit on this one. So that is 23 points of slashing damage. You can tell that its modifier is plus 10. And sorry, missed on the first attack, hit on the second one. It will use its third action to. It's like bleary-eyed. It is going to grab hold of you with its third action. And that leaves the one at the top of the stairs. Now that you're.
Still needs to make a will save.
That's true. It does need to make a will save. Since it's close to your weird magical effect. What's that? 29?
That's a failure, so it's just dazzled still.
Okay, so the dazzling continues. It's trying to see through all the weird
stars
sparkles.
in its eyes.
Okay, that leaves this guy. Yeah, I think same strat. It is going to go for a strike. That is a 36 with 2 for flat-footed, so 38 is enough to hit again.
That hits. Yes.
Ooh. That's 20 points of slashing damage. It will also grab you on its second action, and for its third action, it is going to attempt to drain your blood. What is your fortitude DC?
My fortitude DC? Like, what is my the number
10,
fortitude?
10 plus your fortitude number.
Modifier.
Yeah.
So sorry, whatever's in con, or like the number 29 that's in fortitude?
The number that's in fortitude. So yeah, you take the 29 and then you just add
plus-
10.
So 39.
39. Okay, so 39 is the DC that it needs to hit. I'm going to use the 7 points that remain. Plus 7 plus its roll. That is a 49, which would be a crit. I don't think there's a difference on crit. No, there's no special things on crit. So you are drained 1.
Ooh, my blood.
Great.
So you turn around to try and attack to try and block the attacks from the one behind you, and the one at the top of the stairs uses its high ground advantage to get right up on your back and is clawing at you, biting into through your hoodie into your skin.
My hoodie.
Oh no.
No.
Greshy.
I made this.
I want to clarify just again, based on what happens when someone is confused and the things they can't do, he is still able to maintain a grab. Because you don't have your wits about you, you attack wildly, you're flat-footed, you can't treat anyone as an ally, you can't delay, ready, use reactions. You use all your actions to strike or cast offensive cantrips, that sort of thing. I'll take it, I'm just double checking for sure.
I mean, he's
still got my hold.
That happened at the end of his turn after he had already grabbed you, so it's on his turn that he has to re-up the grapple.
True. Fair enough.
So if you're still grabbed by him at the end of his next turn, if he doesn't get a chance to use another action to grab you, then yes, you are released automatically.
All right.
But the confusion hasn't done anything yet.
That's fair. trying to make this easier on myself, and it's not going to happen. So,
motion
real
denied.
Pissed off here. Greshy's rune is going to flash bright, flaming red on his forehead as he starts muttering an incantation under his breath, trying to cast Flame Vortex. And getting a successful cast. That's good. And that is a 5-foot radius, 40-foot tall cylinder, and we're just going to put it right on Mr. Squid Guy.
Okay. I neglected to mention, by the way, that they're all healing a little bit at the on their turns, but that's happening in the background.
Of course they are, because they do that.
Okay, Flame Vortex, you're centering it on the hidden beast.
I am.
Okay. It needs to do a reflex DC 37.
Correct.
That is a 40 on the save. So it succeeds, but doesn't
a success, but not a critical. Great. So half damage, I believe.
Half damage,
Which would be 9 points of mixed bludgeoning fire damage. We can split that if necessary.
It is bludgeoning and fire. Okay. Yes, I am splitting that. It doesn't. The bludgeoning part of that doesn't seem to do a lot to it, but the fire does.
Well, good to know. So that's 2 actions to cast that, and then with his third, Greshy's going to command Phelan to do something with the squid guy. This platform here to the north it's a platform, right? There's space underneath that Phelan can get underneath. Go
yes, around? Correct.
Okay. So if I
has to lower his head a little bit,
10.
but it's basically just enough for him to get under.
20, 25, 30, 35. So he's just going to go all the way around to the other side of the squid creature to flank it with Gunn, since he doesn't get free flanking with Greshy's help. And he will take his chomp. I have the right sheets in front of me. There we are. That's a natural 2, so a 29 is not going to do nothing.
Nope, that's not going to work. So it goes for a big chomp. Subconsciously, the Decapus just starts to shield itself with its back tentacles, blocking the strike, holding Phelan back by the jaws.
Too many tentacles. All right, well, that'll be it.
Gunn.
So Gunn is going to spend his first action to pull out the prayer beads, the holy prayer beads that I have.
Okay. With your shield hand.
The intent of casting a spell, yeah, which I can do now. I should have had them in hand already, and going forward I will. But I can now use an item in my offhand in addition to my shield. So I'll hold those in my, and then as I pull it out, I kind of realize that actually this is a holy symbol, and Asher has said that this thing has a weakness to holy symbols.
Baby.
So I think what I might do is attempt to brandish it and see if there's a reaction.
Okay, so you can use an action to brandish, if you wish. That'll be your second action. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. So you start. So you pull out the prayer beads and you start just waving them in front of these creatures, and they start to hiss, and the Decapus immediately kind of flinches back. And you can just hear a no, as it seems to be affected by this. The one that's behind Greshy, or sorry, behind you, actually all of them just kind of turn and start hissing and cursing in Thessalonian. So they definitely seem to be affected by it.
All right. And then with my third action, I'll go for a sword strike on this thing. Now, often things that do regenerate have some kind of trigger that stops the regeneration. And I was kind of hoping that this one was based on taking good damage or holy damage.
I did say that
I'm
staking them
trying
through the heart as
to
well
land.
in my.
So I've got a 42 with Phelan's flanking. Strike
40,
at this,
42 will hit. Right? Yes, it is right down there.
Your weapon
Yes,
is also
it
cold iron. I don't know if that matters.
Cold iron,
well.
that hasn't, but it does good damage in addition to its slashing. So
yes, as far as you can tell, the cold iron hasn't mattered. And you haven't noticed the good damage affecting its healing. It just seems to be healing. And yes, Asher did also say something about
28
staking.
points of slashing and 1 good.
Okay, 28 points of slashing. That is partially reduced. And then the 1 good damage is definitely affecting it. It's clearly an evil creature. But it doesn't seem to, the wounds still seem to be closing up as quickly as they're able.
If I wanted to try and stake it, how would I do that? Just a regular attack that say I want to try and stab it specifically, or
Oh,
I
well,
need a stake, a wooden
you
stake
need a
of some
wooden
kind?
stake, is what Asher said.
Okay. Okay.
Greshy, quick.
I probably have wooden
Wait.
spikes on my armor. I could try and
Borrow a
poke it with my
staff or two
shoulder.
and throw it through, I guess.
You need actual. There are armor spikes that you could get. If you didn't actually get armor spikes, I wouldn't allow you to do that.
All right. Fair enough.
But okay, yeah. So
that
you
is the end of my turn.
drew brandished. Okay, Asher.
Okay, I want to try and get out of this grab. Or, I guess, series of grabs. Do I have to do 2, 1 for each grab? Or is it just 1 for both grabs?
I would allow 1 for both grabs. Was that what I was doing before? I guess it didn't matter before, but yeah, I'll allow 1 for both grabs.
And acrobatics or athletics, you said?
Yes, acrobatics, athletics, or an unarmed attack.
I'm trying to be really slippery. Oh, goody. 41?
Critical success. You slip out of both of their grips very easily, and in fact, you can move up to 5 feet, which I guess is only off of the stairs.
Yeah, actually, I want to do that.
Okay.
I'll flop.
You kind of kick off so you're being grabbed by both of them. You turn, slam yourself off of the wall, kind of bouncing yourself off the wall, and sideways tumble off the stairs. You hit the ground, roll, and immediately pop up to your feet.
Where shall I go? Hi, Phelan. Phelan's over here. Alright, I'm going. Whoop. I'm gonna move
Okay,
up here.
Asher just darts to the back of the room, to the other side of the stairs, or the other stairs that lead up to this platform, and kind of gets near a pillar. And you're behind the Decapus and behind
shoot
Phelan.
at it. And it is not my hunted prey, so I just do 1 shot. Here
Okay,
we go.
you're shooting
One shot, go.
At the hidden beast.
Oh,
and I
sorry.
think we did.
Yes.
Oh, fuck. Right, we determined that the hidden beast is not perfectly visible, right? Since it is invisible, so I actually needed a D20 from Gunn.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
D20 as well.
Nope.
Fairy fire still makes them
You
concealed.
have a hero point if you want to use it.
I don't know if 12 works.
12 works. It's what, DC? It's DC 5 for conceal?
It's DC 5.
How many fate points do I have right now? I can't read it. Is that 9?
Aye, you're
I wouldn't
back.
It is 9.
9 on. on that.
You'd have to
check.
choose before you roll,
So
but
I will take the I wouldn't have used at any point, even on and I'm not going to re-roll it.
okay.
It'll miss that.
Okay,
From Gunn.
so that was... I remember the damage it did. Okay.
28, I think.
28 and 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. Which was changed about, but
Okay. Yes, I've adjusted it post resistance. Okay, sorry. Yes, the 12 will hit. Potentially. Roll the attack.
I will go 32.
32 is not enough. It's distracted for sure, but your shot just kind of hits into kind of a fleshy zone of the back of its head, and it doesn't seem to have made like an actual substantial impact. Top of the round.
I'll roll above a 10 one day.
Yeah, the rolls tonight are not great. Okay, let's see. So,
Continuation of last time.
yeah. Hidden Beast's turn. It doesn't have anybody grabbed. It tried to catch you. It is going to actually. Let me. Is that what I want? I think so. It's going to start gesturing, casting a spell. I will need fortitude saves from everybody, including Phelan. Oh, sorry. No, that's not true. That's not true.
I'm going to guess.
No, it's just going to be Gunn and Greshy. So not Phelan. Oh, I just saw the natural
that's
one.
Not conjuration magic.
that's why when you said that, I was like, okay.
It is not conjuration. This is necromancy.
Okay.
Greshy will try to use his reaction to break necromancy then. Is it reverse necromancy, excuse me.
Okay, yeah, you can try.
Or would I know that?
I mean, you can guess.
Being fair, would I have a reason to suspect?
You have strong
does it look
reasons to
necromantic in
suspect.
nature?
Yes. There's
All right,
dark energy
we're
flowing.
going to attempt to counteract it. Let me see if I've got this set up correctly. I don't think I do. Probably not, no. All right. So it's... What does this counteract at? What level do I counteract at?
It should be in the description of the weapon. I can pull that up again.
But I'll double check.
All the weapons had a little bit at the top that it says what the
Oh, maybe it was at the
levels are.
top that I missed. That's remedy. Counteract is equal to the wielder's level, and a counteract modifier is equal to the wielder's class, DC -10, or spell attack modifier, whichever's higher. Okay.
So presumably it's going to be your spell attack modifier.
Greshy sheet. Right, I'm just checking that.
Just basically do a spell attack roll.
Finding good spell attack to do. Here. Produce flame.
Your spell's plus 27. Yep.
So 27, okay. So I guess 35 to attempt to counteract.
35 to counteract the spell.
I'm actually going to hero point that.
Okay. Go ahead and
Might be
reroll.
reckless, but we're going to try.
If you're doing that, you might as well use your points on it, because that
Nope.
could be a huge swing.
44.
Oh, right, because you can take higher on a...
Yes, yeah, you can always take the higher. A 44 is a critical success. And your character level is 16.
Correct.
Yep, that will work. So you start to feel so the Decapus like starts to lift up its tendrils and open its mouth, and you like feel a pulling sensation. Gunn, you feel it on the back of your neck. You feel like drips of something like sliding across the back of your neck and like fly. Like you sort of see like little droplets of blood flying out of your wounds towards the creature. And Greshy, seeing this happen, you instinctually swing your staff mender in its direction, and there's a flash of purple light, and the blood droplets just drop to the ground mid-flight, and the creature hisses and will instead go for...
Question, actually.
Yeah?
If the spell is successfully counteracted, it instead applies an opposite effect on the intended target determined by the GM. Negative damage turns into positive healing, etc.
Damn it, why did I make this effect? All right.
I'm so glad we went 3 different element weapons now.
Okay, so the blood that was going to seep out of you now starts to fly back into you, and actually blood starts to shoot out of the creature's mouth. It was like going to suck up blood, but it's now forced to like regurgitate blood. And the blood goes flying at you all.
It's in the nose. What?
Let's see. So
Why does it feel good?
it is going to take 12d6 positive damage. So it takes 44 points of positive damage.
A lot of that is probably my blood coming back
Yes.
in. So maybe that's...
and you guys get...
You give that back.
You each gain half that many temporary hit points, so each of you gets 22 temp HP.
So 22?
As the blood, as it like hits the two of you, it like starts to like soak into your body, and you feel rejuvenated. You've just had a fresh blood transfusion.
Wow.
So yeah, that's 22 temp HP for each.
If he wants to do that again, it won't be so bad.
It hisses and
like, oh.
is gonna go for the strike on Gunn. It is mad, angry, if you will. 41 to hit Gunn. Flanked,
I'll use my
technically,
reaction.
so... Oh, actually, this guy's
it treats someone
confused,
as
so he's
allies.
not flanked. Correct. So it is just a 42.
So that means that with a shield raise reaction, I can avoid that hit.
Okay, you snap your shield up as a reaction and just block the strike. You can tell it's gotten flustered. But as usual, it did recover a little bit.
Now it takes some damage.
Oh yes, now it takes the damage. D4, that's 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 points of electricity damage from the ongoing shock. And D20, it rolled an 8. So it keeps the effect on. And now it's the lil vampies around the room. Number 4 is confused. So it did have Greshy grabbed. Let's see what's going on. It is flat-footed, can't treat anyone as their ally, cannot delay ready or use reactions. Have to use all of their actions to strike. The GM can use other options. So to attack, move so targets in reach, and so on. Your targets are set by the GM. Oh, randomly by the GM. There are no other viable targets. You attack yourself. Okay. And it hasn't taken damage since it got confused. Okay.
Correct.
So it just needs to take offensive actions and has to randomly choose. So.
Correct. It has to take strikes primarily, I believe.
Okay. So it doesn't really want to move. reach.
Because it
it can move to the target's in reach. I see.
Oh, sure.
Okay. Sorry, then Starfinder has more specific rules about exactly what they do, so I'm just trying to... Okay.
Rolling 1d8 and moving this direction, sort of things.
Yeah, so instead, let's see, there's kind of 4 targets that are nearby. It's kind of looking around trying to pick between. 3, 4, yeah. Okay, it starts to move. It like releases its grip on you, Greshy, and like you think it's like trying to claw you, like flinch as it moves to the south a step and swings its claw at its little buddy there. Number 2 was blocking the hull. That is a that will hit. Yes, that will hit. Whoop. That is some damage. So it lands a hit on, even though it is still dazzled, they'll still hit. And it is enfeebled. That will also still... Oh, dazzled and enfeebled won't stack. Okay, cool. All right, so it does manage to hit, and it'll use its third action to grab hold of that creature. So it is grabbed onto number 2, because it is going for a bite. It has ended its turn in that space. Got a 3, which is another critical failure on its will save, which means it's confused again. It takes some damage.
Which actually I think lets it each time you take damage from an attack or spell, so
persistent damage doesn't.
I don't know, that's up to Jason, I suppose.
That's a good question. Depends on the order that these things happen.
It really does.
This isn't an attack or spell. This is just a condition that it already has. So I don't
that's
think this
fair.
would...
It's a condition, so it doesn't actually.
Yeah.
I think it's all the reasoning.
So it takes 4 points of good damage, rolls a d20. That's an 11, so it's still conditioned. All right, it's healing a little bit. Okay. The number 2, the one that just struck and grabbed, is confused about what's happening. It hisses and tries to strike back, or tries to. Well, it's going to try and break its grasp. Yes, it does manage to break free of the attack. It will strike back at it, angrily.
It's welcome to be in a grab fight. Break.
That
strike,
will hit.
Grab. Break, strike.
Is the dice going to stop spinning? There we go. Never seen a d6 spin that long. That. Okay, so number 2 strikes number 4. It takes some damage.
Yeah, that's a lot of value from that spell so far.
That gives it a chance to save out of it. So confusion is just a DC 11 flat check.
DC 11?
Okay. So number 4 got a 15. So number 4 is no longer confused. It's still dazzled, but just not confused anymore. Updating my icon.
Correct.
All right. The enfeebled should also be gone. The escape, attack, and it'll kind of... What does it do with its third action? Actually, it will try and... it turns and tries to hiss at Greshy. It'll do a demoralize.
How dare you, sir?
With a natural 1. So it very, very limply tries to hiss at you, squeaks. There's no penalty on a critical failure, is there?
Why don't you come over here and tell me that to my face?
kind of coughs on its own blood.
I think there might
Is there a penalty on critical failing demoralize?
demoralize.
It'd be very funny if there was.
I think
No,
there's
there's
actually.
not. No, just success and crit success.
No? Oh, that's too bad. There's
okay.
critical failure things on a lot of stuff.
Right. I was thinking, the only thing I was thinking of is maybe you can't do it again or for a day or something like that. Maybe that's just always the case.
That leaves the 2 on the stairs. The first one is the one at the base of the stairs. It is dazzled still. It's behind this pillar. It is going to... it makes some kind of noises in Abyssal. The hidden beast says something back to it, also in Abyssal. And it is going to move around. Actually, does it? No. It will move here, 1 square to the right, and go for a strike on Greshy. Whoop.
Okay.
That is a 45 to hit.
Hits, not crit.
Sorry, with dazzled, it needs to roll.
That's true. Could still miss.
16, it'll still hit. So it hits still. The hit does not crit. Whoop. That is a 20 points of slashing damage.
Oh, still 2 temporary hit points left.
And it seems to know what's going on at this point with this weird miasma, so it's going to actually step back after that strike rather than try to grab you. Does the dazzling go away
Disappointed they're learning.
after 1 round?
If they do end their turn out of the range of it, it does go away.
Okay, so yeah, it'll try and slip back out of the penumbra that is surrounding you, the weird dazzling sparks. Okay, that leaves the one at the top of the stairs.
I feel pretty.
Let Asher get away. 5, 10, 20, 25, and 30. So with some alacrity, it darts around across the top platform, comes down the stairs, and swings at Asher from the top with its second action. That is a 36 to hit you. 37 because it has the high ground.
It does hit me.
Does hit you with 37? Okay.
Is that
I
how
don't
it
always.
works?
Yeah, like
Yeah, there's a little bit of high ground. I get high ground.
That's convenient.
Oh,
Convenient
I won't do it this time.
But its high ground gives it just enough. No, you
I'll it's fine. It's
hit
fine.
me, Jake.
I always forget about. Sometimes they say high ground bonuses are there, and I forget.
well, stairs are also a question of how high ground is high ground.
Yes, this isn't quite high. I'll do it from now on. If you have high
Get
ground
off the
plus
stair.
1, but not here because I'm a lovely GM.
You're so kind.
So that does not hit, but it will go for a second strike. That is a -4 plus its bonus. 36 to hit is also not a hit. So it barrels down the stairs, leaps out towards you, and you just barely manage to kind of dodge out of its grasp. Greshy.
Lap it away a bit.
All right, well, everything's a mess still, but that's fine. Let's start by seeing if we can instill a bit of fear in these creatures. We're going to burst out a fear spell, heightened to 3rd level, so we're going to hit everybody except Mr. 8, who ran all the way to the north there. And it will be this spell. I need DC 37 will saves from basically everyone of them.
Okay.
We'll see how they do, if they can stand up to the scary, knightly looking guinea dwarf. I don't know.
That's everybody in the room, right? Up to 5 creatures.
Everybody except number 8. He's just slightly out of range.
I see. Okay. Yep.
I checked. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so number 7, the one that's directly to the north of you, that is a 20. That is a critical failure. Number 4,
Really?
who is to the south of you,
Right.
that is a 23. That's also a critical failure. The one directly to the south of you, number 2. Oh shit! Did they get their turns since?
They got their.
Oh god damn it! I forgot. I forgot about Gunn brandishing the. Shit.
Okay, I was gonna do it again, figuring that maybe it builds
Okay.
up or something.
Yes, we'll say it builds up. You're right. Yeah, you brandished the holy symbol earlier, and it totally slipped my mind that you did that. I'm sorry, that's my bad. Sure, I'll give it an extra effect or something. Okay, sorry. Number 2, also crit fails. The boss, though. That is a 45. That is
that's a success. No problem.
Regular
Just frighten one.
success. Okay. And 1. Hold on. Sorry, There's a lot going on in this combat. The rest are all frightened, 3 and fleeing. Okay.
Everybody except number 8, who is a brave soul up there.
Hanging out.
All right.
So
Gun.
frightened 1.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, it's still
I'm
Greshy's
not
turn.
done. Excuse me.
Yep. Continue.
Greshy's got more shenanigans. For a moment, his rune on his forehead will flame a bit brighter as he sustains with a free action the flame vortex. The creature is going to need to make another reflex save, DC 37.
All right. Sorry, which one was that on?
How the damage works in this? Oh, that's the big guy. Squid is
Big guy, okay.
Squidly Squidlord. We're just going to leave it there. We're not going to move it. Actually, no, we'll leave it there. It's fine.
Okay.
As long as he's in it, yeah.
Well,
Oh, right. The flame vortex.
actually, we can move it up. So I had it here. I can actually move it up, and I'll have it move from there to number 8. They'll hang out with near number 8 as well.
Does that mean that it's going to damage both of them?
If I move it over here, it won't.
Oh, right. I could probably have the token on the map.
How big is it?
It's a 5-foot radius. So it's
Radius. Okay, so
Aye.
it's a large. It's 2 by 2.
Let me get
thereabouts.
Here you go.
So
Let me give you control over it.
perfect.
Controlled by Will. There you go. Enjoy.
Gotcha. So it was here, so I'm going to have him to make his basic reflex save. And yeah, it just does the
I
same
already rolled
damage
that.
again, it looks like, so that's good.
That's on him. So yes, that is a 40. Sorry, not 49. Wrong modifier. What's a 41?
41 is just a regular success, so he'll take half damage.
Okay.
Let's just roll that again. That is 7 bludgeoning and 10 fire. So however that needs to be split. Or sorry, yeah, 7 bludgeoning, 10 fire. So however that's split for you.
Okay.
And number 8
do
also
that
needs to make that same reflex save.
Okay, as it, right, you move it in a line and it hits both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one on the back. That is a natural 20. Which I think
I'm sure that's a success.
Yeah, it's a 42. Which will make that a crit success. So
Crit succeeds, no problem.
yeah, it leaps up. The vortex is still kind of at the base of the stairs, and it kind of shimmies its way against the wall, letting the fire just kind of lick at the sides of the railing. Okay.
And finally, with my third action, Phelan wants take his 2 strikes at Mr. Squidly. And we'll just hopefully wrap this up here. So that's a 42 to hit with flanking.
42 will hit. Roll damage.
All right. Let's see some fun damage here. So this is positive damage. It is 18 positive damage and 3 electric damage because he is ghostly still.
Okay, that
And
all works.
for his... That all good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phelan and his ghostly form chomps into
Phelan
the
is going
creature's
to
back.
bring him down. As he
The
chomps
auto
into
trip.
his back, he's just going to knock him straight to the ground, and he's going to go prone.
Okay. Phelan managed to pull the. He's kind of got a chunk of the Decapus's tentacles in his teeth, and tries to yank at them, and just kind of pulls the creature off of the stone throne that it's sort of somewhat attached to, and just kind of flounders on the ground a bit. All right. Gunn, at the start of your turn, the light is kind of like searing the Decapus's. So the rosary that you're holding and or brandishing out, it's like glows a soft green light that just starts to like kind of sear the Decapus's skin, and it'll take some
takes
damage.
On an aspect of. It takes on an aspect of Rastal when you attune to it as a caster, as a divine caster.
Excellent.
And so I think it would probably have like a little silver hand on it with the 2 fingers extended.
The horns, yeah.
Yeah.
A projected
Like as an
image of the
amulet with
horns.
the chain goes.
But yeah, it's like writhing on the floor. It's clearly it's like trying to back away from you.
So I will not only brandish the symbol again with my first action, but with my other 2 actions, I will use the prayer beads to cast Divine Wrath, which will hit everyone except number 8.
Of course, number 8.
And they need to make a. I believe it's a Fortitude save.
Everyone except number 8 needs to do Fortitude save. All right. The Decapus gets a 43.
This is a 4th level spell. Why does it not have my difficulty on there? I think I may have forgotten to.
It should be the same as your other DCs, unless it. Yeah, because you're casting the spell.
I think I
right?
may have just forgotten to put it on the ability. So DC.
Unless the prayer beads have their own
This is gonna be a-
DC on it. No, it looks
I
like
don't
it's
think
through
so. I
you.
think it's-
So
I think it,
yeah.
okay.
Holy light.
Okay. I think I should be able to roll it again now and see what that DC is. 35. Divine Spell Charisma.
35. So
mark it as Fortitude, but
okay. So it got a 43, so that's a success. It'll take half damage. So it takes 10 points of good damage.
of the 19.
Sorry, of the 19.
This is half of
Yes.
19, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is 10 still,
Sorry.
I suppose.
Yeah, still 10. Yes.
But this is the Decapod and also
Yeah. I just happened to roll that
4
one
and 7
first, so
Okay.
I'm going to roll the other 2. 7.
Gotcha.
Plus. Critical fail. 4. Critical fail. 2.
Oh, if it
Fleeing
2
and
is a
slowed.
yeah, if they-
regular
Running away, but
fail.
not very fast.
Okay. So
regular
2 just
fail
takes.
becomes sickened 1 takes. They all take the 19. They don't. It doesn't double the damage.
All right.
But they all become sickened. The regular fail becomes sickened 1. The crit fails become sickened 2, and while they are sickened, they are slowed 1.
All right.
Just vomiting up blood.
slamming all the conditions down. Okay.
Yeah, we're finally getting it going. Now we just need the damage,
Just no kidding.
Okay. I think you still have an action left, right?
Nope,
Yes.
that's a 2-action spell and then 1 to brandish.
Ah, right. Okay. I'm not going to bother marking those two as slow. I'll remember that they're slow, for real. Okay, Asher. It's up to you.
Me again. Ooh, it's up to me. Okay, so I'm gonna switch my hunt prey from 7 to the squid as my first action.
Move your
As my
hunted prey.
second action, I finally will cast my precious arrow to make a silver arrow. And then I will shoot the arrow using... I think I have 9. For some reason, mine is the hardest to read for myself on here, but I'm going to use my points.
I should make
You
the
do
text
have 9.
bigger.
Everybody has 9 at this point.
You've all got 9.
Because I can see everyone else's, and then mine's like one of those eye tests where I'm like, it could be an 8 or a 6. I think it's my screen. I don't
But
think
it is a 9.
Oh, yeah,
We
see,
all
now I
have
can see. Thank you.
There you go.
9. The number of the day.
There you go.
9. Okay. Yes, I will attack using my 9 at the squid. Good luck.
Okay.
My
Roll attack.
arrow. My silver precious arrow.
Oh, the fletch.
Oh, a 47
Ooh.
plus 9, a 56.
That is a critical.
that?
Flat check.
Oh, the flat check. Damn
Oh,
it.
flat check.
No.
Oh,
I have a reroll though.
you do
and
have a
I'll
hero
be fucking
point.
using it. Where is that D20? Ah!
Yes.
Okay,
There it
16.
goes.
Oh,
The
Put
attack
that arrow
does
right
hit.
through
It
its
is a
face.
critical. Roll the
My
damage
silver arrow.
with silver
Okay,
arrow.
let's just do our damage. My arrow. 1, 2.
this is what we were missing last time. Asher
We always need to
ready.
have Asher calculation damage for about 5 minutes.
I have to do my
That's what I like to
party.
see. I want them numbers. Give me them numbers.
This is what I finally deserve.
This is what we wanted.
Beauty.
Give the people what they want.
Oh my god!
Oh, bless.
Deadly damage. Holy hell!
I don't think
Oh,
I've ever
geez,
gotten
this is
that
a lot
high
of damage. Okay.
That's a lot of damage.
Well, since this is a silver arrow, it doesn't resist any of that. So that's 17 plus 24 plus 13 plus 19. That's just the basic bitch piercing damage that is a total of 73 on its own, and then the frost flame force damage is a total of 9 and 14 for an extra 23 points of damage as the silver pierces its skin, and you immediately start to notice like at the impact point it just starts like leaking this greenish ooze from its body, and there's just like a hissing sound as smoke starts to kind of like billow up from the wound, and there's just like sizzling noises as the skin around the impact is like starting to boil. Cool.
We have more things now.
Mhm.
We have a D10 persistent fire damage.
So that'll
on
happen
it.
on its turn.
That'll happen. It has
Okay.
to succeed at DC 24 fortitude
Oh.
save. Can it do it?
We've got to
A
get
DC.
you better frost.
Yes, it critically
Yeah.
saves the frost effect.
Oh no! How could that happen?
Not. Did you pin it? It
I was
is
gonna say,
on the ground.
Yeah,
If it's
could
prone
pin it.
and pinned, does it
So
have to
there's some
unpin before it can
interesting
stand up?
things. So I also have, I could push it 10 feet, it has to succeed a DC 37 fortitude save, or it's pushed. And then I suppose it could be pinned afterwards.
You can push pin it.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it's
it allow you to
prone.
push it and then pin it.
Okay, so it has to succeed a DC 37, or it is pushed.
DC's 37 fortitude save. I think that's a success. That's a 41.
Alright, so it's fine. It is also flat-footed until my next turn ends.
All right.
So
And it's still
flat,
pinned.
I guess it doesn't have feet. Flat tentacled.
Flat tentacled.
It's pinned.
It's pinned, it's prone, and it's just straight up flat-footed because Asher is just that badass.
All right.
Distracted it with my arrow.
To say the least.
It's a little
It's a minor
distracting.
distraction.
Okay, and that's my whole turn.
Okay.
I'm satisfied.
That was a nice round. We don't get as many of those very often.
End of the round. Okay. I think it has to do this. Don't think it has a choice.
I mean, you could just lay there and die. I'd be fine with that. That an option? No?
Sizzling.
So you watch as its body turns into a fine. So the body starts to like kind of liquefy, and the whole creature becomes this like fine red mist. Oops, that didn't work at all, did it? One sec.
It was there and then it wasn't.
Whoop.
There we go.
Ooh.
It's a fine red mist. So it uses its first action to become this like bloody mist, and it is going to use its next two actions. You watch as the mist starts to seep into the ground. You notice that it seems to be slipping. So that throne in the center of the room is sitting on this big stone slab. The blood is slipping under the stone slab. There's like the thinnest hair-thin crack that it's moving through.
Does it have enough actions to do that? Is it
One
slowed
action
or
to transform. Oh, is it
restrained in any
slowed?
way?
It's not slowed that I know of.
I don't know what the effect of brandishing the holy symbol was supposed to be, but
The holy symbol causes it to flee. It needs to get away from you. It's clearly trying to get away from you. You've terrified it.
I see.
And it is trying to move away from you. So it has slipped underneath
I guess
this
that
stone
is one way
slab,
to do that.
Whoop. There it goes.
and it's used all its actions to do so. The other vampires in the room. Let's see. Because you're openly brandishing that. Well, they're all fleeing anyway. Oh boy. Number 7.
But they're all
They're all slowed and they're all fleeing. Oh, okay. Sorry, let me go in their actual order. So
They're
number
not all
4.
slowed. Only the ones that crit failed slowed.
That's true.
That's true.
It's just number
So
4
these
and
two,
number
I think,
7.
were the two.
No, it's this one
number 7,
and this
sorry.
one up here. Yeah. Number 4 is the one that goes first. It is slowed. It is not confused, but it is dazzled, and it is trying to flee. It's sickened. It's frightened. It is going to run.
It is not having a very good time right now.
20, 25. It is slowed, so okay. So it's like run to the back of the room and hidden behind a pillar, and doesn't have enough time to try and vomit up to get rid of the sickened condition. Where is the next one? Next one is number 2, directly to the south. It is also fleeing, but not slowed, and runs to the south through the tunnel.
Ah, shite. Is it going to go after, what's his name?
You hear a screech.
There's Morgiv. All
we
right.
told him to flee to us if we could, but he probably won't think of that.
The next one. Yeah, you hear more gives oh my, as the skulk goes running past.
I could call out to him, this way.
All right.
Bring him in here.
Oh dear. You hear him say in Thessalonian. And next is number 7, who's also fleeing. He kind of clambers roughly up these onto the staircase, and is then just like runs. He's gonna move up to the top of the stairs and just kind of he's looking around trying to figure out what he should do, but he doesn't have much he can do. So he's just gonna hang out there. He can use an action to try and vomit, I get. Not because he's fleeing now. But he has to use the rest of his actions to just kind of be scared. Okay, so he's just scared. Number 8 is in this fire. He's going to
Doesn't do
try
anything
and
on this round.
attack Asher. A 29 to hit. 30 with high ground.
Nope. Nope.
It'll do one more strike attempt. That's worse. And it then backs up the stairs to try and get away from the flame. Greshy, it's your turn.
We have a problem. I don't know where that thing went. Well,
We should try to lift this. Phelan.
Okay. Phelan's kind of incorporeal right now. First action is going to be sustain the flame, the fire, and we're going to move it to go hang out with these two friends. They can burn. So we'll go ahead and cast that, I suppose.
Okay, the flame vortex flies up the stairs.
That button. There we are. So, make reflex saves for me.
Those are both the same number. And they're both... one of them is frightened, so that's a... Should be frightened 2, so that's a 30...
-3 on top of that. Or minus 2.
Just -2 at this point. That's a 38 from that one, which
That's
is still a success, and the other one succeeds as well, so they both succeed. So they both take half damage.
So half damage then.
Okay.
So 19 or 10 and 9. However you want to break that down.
All right.
Shit. I don't... We need to go after it. Can I do some sort of seek check to see if there's like stairs or something nearby or a way down?
Sure.
I don't want to waste a whole lot of time doing it, but
you can do just kind of a AoE seek around yourself, or you can like pick a location to do a AoE around that.
I mean, I'm primarily going to be looking in the areas I haven't gotten to yet.
So
I suppose
pick a point on the map, and it's like
side, far to the...
I think seek is a 20-foot AoE normally.
Something like that. So over here near these pillars, further into the east.
Okay. You try to get a good look over in that direction. Give me a perception check.
Shite roll. It's a 30.
30. You glance. You like look down the hall, or down across the chamber, to get a better look at what's around in that area. There's another tunnel, but it seems to be leading up. You're pretty sure. That doesn't seem to connect downward. You see some pillars, but it looks like that's just the back of the, like, those are just normal walls. You don't see any obvious signs of secret trap doors or anything like that. That would be useful.
right. Then for his next 2 actions, then Greshy will give Phelan 3 and tell Phelan to help Gunn move this throne thing. See if we can get it out of the way somehow. So Phelan will rematerialize and attempt to... I'm not sure if he can shove this thing, push it, or just attack, break it.
That would be an athletics check to try and move it. It's a
That's probably a smart
thick
thing to
piece
do
of
first.
stone.
It is, but Phelan is a beefy boy, and we're going to go ahead and throw what points we have at this while we're at it.
Did it look like the mist phased directly through the stone, or did it slip through some cracks? Or
He said something about a crack.
It slipped through some cracks. It slipped through the crack between the stone slab and the floor.
we've seen Mugmirian do this before.
Right,
So I figured-
and that's why I don't want to let him get away. I'm done with this.
Mhm.
So, throwing my points at this.
So using your 9 points.
So 34, so 43 to try and shift or shove this thing to one side.
Let's see. That is... Let's see. That is almost just barely enough to start. So Phelan returns to his material form and then starts trying to shove the stone aside. And you can see underneath. So he managed to shove it about 5 feet. So let's say. Let me try and redraw the stone slab a little bit. The stone slab is now here. Maybe I could use a different color that is filled in or something. So the stone slab is now here, and you can see into underneath it is a dug out kind of cube in the ground where the bloody mist is just chilling.
Good morning. The head.
Well, didn't get very far there, did you?
It's just
Now,
it's
what
kind
can
of
we do about
wavering
this?
there in that form.
If only I had another action for Gust of Wind, but alas, I don't. That is the end of my turn now that Phelan has exposed our terrible friend.
Ish.
Sorry, was that a blank?
All
Was
right.
that the end of your turn?
That's the end of my turn.
Okay. Gunn, what are you doing?
Well, I think that with the would you? It's slightly invisible, but the heal
Yes.
spell is not an attack check. Is it?
No, it's a
the
fortitude save
Fort
for
save?
It's a fortitude save, yeah.
creatures that would be affected by it.
All right. I suppose I will. Can I reach down to attack to swing my sword into that mist? Or would I have to jump in or something? I don't want to jump into it. I've already had enough of it on me.
That's a good question. Let me see how deep it is supposed to be.
I mean, he's got the high ground, right? If it's just only 5 feet down.
Is it? Yeah. Is it?
oh no, it's more than 5 feet
or, like,
down.
Is it?
Okay.
Okay.
But he's a large creature. Though he's a ghost. Or
All right. Well,
spirit.
Give me
Beast.
just a sec. What did they say?
Very kind of you,
will-
Jorger.
I will do 100. No, so it's about 15 feet deep, so it's like just out of your reach. The mist is kind of settled at the base of it.
All right. Well, I should be able to cast upon it there. So I'm going to use my 6th level slot for the day. Even though this says 1, just ignore that. It's a 2-action heal spell, targeting it for, I guess, up to 72 points of good damage if it doesn't make it save.
It's positive damage.
Positive damage.
Positive damage. All right. I'll do the fort save. Phew. That is a 37.
Burn the sin out of it.
What's your DC?
This is my 6th, so it probably is also. I guess. Damn, I don't have it on here, but it should be probably.
It's either 37 or 36, I'd guess. So.
My 4th was 35, so it's probably.
Oh,
well, it doesn't scale, so it'd be 35.
It doesn't scale. It's all the same.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then it's
So it is a
which means
success.
I take half of that 70.
Sorry,
half of
what's
the
the
72 then?
So 72
36.
over 2, 36. Okay.
Quick maths.
I have to see how this works real quick.
Telling you, just burn the sin out of it. All it needed was some love and kindness and getting stabbed through the head by an arrow.
I got it in the butt.
Oh, you got in the butt. My bad. Whatever it takes to keep it pinned down.
Okay, so you hit, you pulse healing energy down into the mist, causing it to kind of break and sizzle, and the creature loses its form. The mist is still kind of like floating in there, but it no longer can act.
Ooh.
That's different. I don't know what to do with that information.
Like, you can still see the mist is
like
still
it's dead.
there and kind of ethereal.
But it doesn't seem to be trying to reform at all. I mean, I guess it's hard to tell in the few seconds this has been going on.
Yeah,
but
I guess we could try to put it into a jar now or something.
Jar time.
Yes!
Yay.
Do we put it in with the water, or do we make like super gross water that way?
Gun, anything
Take
else
it
on your
up in
turn?
the water.
Anything else on your turn?
Action.
Right.
I have another action, so I'm looking for something useful to do real quick. There's 2 of them up there. There's one other that fled. I will call out to Morgiv and shout like, Morgiv, come this way. We have it. We have it.
Okay. Asher.
Eh.
Asher speed races.
Ooh. Yeah. No. No. Okay. Never mind. I am gonna move actually. It's not where I thought it was going. Okay. No. Yes. Okay. I'm pleased with where I don't think I can hit the mists with an arrow. So I'm going to just
I don't know, Asher's really accurate. Could hit those little particles.
they're like blinking at them. I'll get it one day.
One by one.
Yeah, I'll plink at these guys for now. See, I can do double shot. So I'm gonna try and hit 8. Do a hunted shot on 8, I should say. For a 33 and a 40.
Okay. Those both hit. Yes, those both hit.
Okay.
Sorry, those are
They're still
number 8, right? That is the hunted one.
yeah, hunted shots at number 8.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna do my little damages. Wow, very close, almost the same, but not. 14 piercing both times. What is this?
8 and 15 makes 43 total.
9 and 6.
Yep, I have 43.
Alright, I give him a little plink.
Okay, yeah, both shots find their mark, hitting the vampires
Oh,
through
and the
all.
one hunted prey. My bad. 2.
It's a little bit more in there. I'm not
Yes,
done yet.
there's one more. 2d8, 1 2d8. Bloop. For 10.
Another 10 points. Cool. All right. Yeah, it's looking pretty rough, and obviously, I mean, they're all of the little vampires are seemingly scared. Is that the end of your turn? You moved.
Get
Oh, you have one
one
more.
more shot, or doing whatever. I guess I'll just. Actually, I will move again.
Go hide behind Phelan. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm coming over here.
Yeah.
Wee. Something weird down.
Unfortunately, Phelan doesn't have his ghostly form right now, so he's a bit more vulnerable.
Phelan. Okay, I'm happy and pleased.
Okay. You dart around the room, around Phelan. Top of the round, or sorry, at the end of the round, you hear footsteps as Morgiv comes running around the corner and into the room, looking terrified, but heeding
Hells,
your
what
command.
are you doing? Oh, that's right.
Stay close to me.
He can only kind of just get into the room, and he's going to use his last action to take cover behind this pillar. Okay.
That's a good idea.
That leaves... Let's see. The one in the back over here is going to use his first action. The fleeing only lasts for one round, right?
Usually.
On fear.
Correct.
Okay. It's going to just run. But it's still sickened.
As long as it's sickened, I think it's slowed
So
one.
it's still slowed?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm trying to get here. So it follows around the room's walls, and then into there's like a portion of the chamber that is the wall is broken, and there's a tunnel leading through to the east. And so it starts to kind of shamble down that tunnel, but it's obviously slowed, so it can't get terribly far. This one is gone. This one. The ones at the top of these stairs, starting with number 7, is in this fire. It's going to definitely move.
I'm glad he believed it was me and not somebody tempting him.
It's trying to run. I think it can get to about there before the slow is kind of kicking in and keeping it from moving any further. And that leaves number 8 all by itself at the top of the stairs here.
I don't know. Do you think the beast itself is dead?
I haven't gotten a chance to take a look.
We definitely shouldn't allow them to flee.
So number 8 runs down the stairs and jumps at Phelan from behind.
Rude.
That is...
The only not scared one.
Yeah, he's not afraid. He's not afeared of anything. 42 to hit Phelan.
That does hit. It does not crit.
Okay. That is 22 points of slashing damage.
Ow.
And with its third action, it grabs hold of Phelan.
Takes the full amount. You
All right.
made a righteous mistake there, son.
Greshy.
The rune flares very brightly as the fire follows down the stairs and engulfs him. I need him to make another reflex save, please.
Okay.
We'll roll that.
Is that 40 is his save. So
It's a
success.
success, not a crit, so
Half
6
of
and
6 plus
14.
14. And the minus. Okay. Alright, he takes some damage.
All right. Greshy's going to close his eyes and reach out. No, he's going to save that actually for now. It's probably better. So instead, he's going to just start zapping this asshole a bit. It's lightning, don't I? I have electric arc. So Greshy will charge up some electric energy and zap him a bit. So another reflex save, I suppose. See how dodgy this asshole is.
Reflex save. Sorry, same target?
Mm-hmm. Same targets, hey. Let's see another one closer.
That is 21. So that's a crit fail.
21 is the eye, so he takes 50 points of electric damage.
Okay, he dodges the fire vortex that's flying towards him, but jumps right into the path of your electric arc. Yeah, which hits him for
Perfect.
50 points of electricity
Unfortunately,
damage.
yeah, Greshy did have to step forward to be able to do that. So with the free action, though, Phelan is going to try and get out of the grapple. And is going to attempt to slip it, I suppose. That might actually be the best way to do it. Yeah, he'll try and slip out of the grapple.
All right, with an acrobatics check.
A 40 total.
40 is a success, but not a critical success. So, yeah, Phelan managed to slip its grip. He is no longer grabbed.
Very good.
Gunn.
Hooray.
You watch as the form of the Decapus, all the blood is kind of solidified at the like it's kind of dripped down onto the floor of the little vault, and it's starting to kind of bubble up and like pool together.
Okay. So it's reforming still.
Yes.
First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to consider, with a religion check, what might happen to these minions if this creature is defeated. Do I think, based on kind of knowing that it's now a vampire of some sort, would they be freed or destroyed or something like that? I have a 36 on that.
36 on your vampire knowledge. That's yes. So you never paid quite enough attention to your religious studies to be 100% sure, but if the Decapus was making these things its thralls, fully destroying the Decapus should end their thrallhood, but will probably not cure their vampirism. So they would at least not be under its control, but they'd have to seek like treatment to either be cured of vampirism or live with their vampirism and not be evil, I guess. Like
right,
they need,
so they wouldn't. They would be there.
know that they
would,
need
like,
to continue
get
with
back
fresh
their own
bloods.
personality and.
Yeah, they would get back some semblance of their personality.
Okay. Then with my other 2 actions, I'm going to cast Divine Lance down into the pool of blood that is reforming for a 42 to hit.
Okay,
I don't know what
you
AC
you
would
hit
be
the
able-
pool of blood.
but-
The divine energy, strikes true, and it's not stopping the blood from like pooling up and reforming. Doesn't seem to have really.
Right, but it takes 25 points of good damage. Doesn't seem to have affected it.
No, the damage doesn't seem to have done anything. It's still like there wasn't really a creature there to hit yet. And you've hit a pool of blood. It kind of scatters, but then just starts dripping back together. That didn't seem to have any useful effect.
Interesting.
Asher.
My turn's done.
I suppose we continue to wander around. Yes, now we're over here.
So you maneuver around to the south side of the room.
I'll call out. Be careful. It is still reforming. Stay close to us.
I'm gonna kick it. I'll put it in a jar now. I'm gonna shoot 8 some more, since it's the only one that doesn't seem to be absolutely terrified.
Okay, take your shots.
Maybe. If I could find them. Pew pew. A 31 and a 43.
The 31 is a miss, but the 43 is a crit.
Oh, my little
And
sheep.
it's not affected by anything, right? No.
Oh, I guess I could have. I didn't. Never mind. Cool, it's fine. What is this? 1, 2. 2 of these.
Plus that.
4 of these.
58 and a 3. It's 61 points of damage.
Nope, there's
2.
more.
Plus another 22.
More.
Okay, you land, you fire 2 shots. The second one hits home really hard right in the chest. It needs to make a fortitude save or be pushed back, I suppose.
Oh yeah. Has to be 37.
That is a 26, which is a critical failure, I guess. I don't know if that matters, but I guess it gets shoved into the wall.
I don't think it does.
So it gets shoved in the wall.
It gets pinned.
It takes some damage from hitting the wall. Boop. It is pinned to the wall. It is taking persistent fire damage.
It is.
And it needs to make a fortitude save
also
against
being in
the
the fire.
freeze. It succeeds that. Probably a 36 is more than enough.
Yes.
Yeah, crit.
It's doing
Okay.
great.
We've got to
And
upgrade
it's
that room.
flat-footed until the end of my next turn.
All right, flat feet. And that was your movement.
Yes, I have another thing I could do.
Okay, still have one more.
How is that? How's number 8 looking? Is it looking lively?
It's no, it's hanging on by a thread. You've just critically wounded it. It's reaching for the arrow
Trying-
roughly, but it's looking pretty
Can we plank it? No,
No.
we can't. It's a 21. I can't quite
Nope.
see it in the flames. Greshy's vortex.
Yep, it's the shot goes a little bit wide and gets caught up in the flame vortex on its way. Top of the round. This one gets away. This one, 7. It's going to move and effectively gets away, even though it's slowed. That leaves number 8. Number 8 is pinned, so it'll use one action to remove the arrow. It'll use its second action. Second and third action? Let's see. It's fast, but 10. Or is it here? How far can it move? It can do that. It darts towards Greshy in an angry rush and leaps out to strike. For its third action, that is a 31 to hit Greshy.
Misses.
Okay. That's a healing. Needs to do a. It takes it's D8 of the fire damage from Asher's bow. Is that correct? Or D10.
If it was a crit, it's
D10.
Oh,
But 2d12 now, isn't it? Something ridiculous like that?
2d10 persistent
3d10.
fire
Oh.
damage.
2d10 persistent fire, right?
It's-
It's 2.
Okay. That is
Still
9
meaty.
points
Yeah.
of fire damage from that.
11.
Natural 2 on the recovery save, and then the will save for it being this close to Greshy is plus that 29, which I think is a failure.
It's a failure, not a crit.
Okay, so it is dazzled.
Correct.
Okay. Just get rid of this tag. Greshy, you're up.
I really wish this guy was not right in my face. 5, 15, 20. The rune flares up again as the fire moves back to try and burn this guy. There is. So keep moving away from
It's
it. I
a
don't know
31 to dodge. I think that's a failure.
why. That is actually a failure. Correct. So whenever this wants to load, be 9 bludgeoning and 14 fire.
Okay, that is enough. The creature is burned up in the flames, and all that's left of it is a bloody mist.
Miss.
Fantastic. Anyway, Greshy wants to go look at what's going on in this thing, but he can't stand near people.
Where did my bloody mist go? There it is.
Oh my god.
Is it similar to the other bloody mist in that it's still
Oh,
shaped?
right. Vampires do that.
What?
Oh, shite. 5, 10, 15, 20,
You can move through it.
30, I think.
It's not.
I just don't want to get burnt. It's fine.
Oh, sure. Okay. You walk
There's
around
fire
the flame.
I put the fire there, and then I walked around the fire that I put there. Greshy wasn't necessarily rational, as he was a bit pissed off there. Do you want to look down at this, the pool of blood? Is it starting to form a body sort of shape, like actual vampires reforming, or is this something else going on? I'm not sure what kind of check that is. I'd do a religion if that's what it is.
Yes, it'd be a religion check.
Okay. I'm going to use my robes and the runes flash as I think very, very hard and roll with advantage, effectively. That's okay. That's a 39, plus 3, so 42. My ropes are very fancy.
Okay. You search your mind for any memories of stories of vampires, and yes, vampires do reform anytime they're killed. And they basically can't be killed unless they've been... Well, there's specific conditions. You're trying to think about how do you actually kill one of these things, but when they die, they basically become a bloody mist. They return to their coffin and reform their bodies there while they wait to regenerate. And something needs to be done to actually fully kill them. Otherwise, they will continually do that no matter how many times you destroy their body.
Gotcha.
You can continue to do religion checks
figure out what it is to do.
Learn, but
yeah, I
was the first
probably should actually, because if I think we need to figure out it's in there, that's great, but now how do we kill it proper? So I will attempt to think again. I don't think I can use the ropes again quite so fast, fancy as they are. So we will just think again real hard. 44.
44. You're trying to think.
47. I have my robe bonus still. That's the item bonus.
You remember Asher mentioning stakes earlier. Stakes will definitely keep it from, if you manage to stake a vampire in its heart, that will stop the regeneration until the stake is removed. So that buys you time to actually destroy the thing. You're trying to remember what is it that actually does that. You need one more success in that to figure that out.
All right. I have one more action, but I'm going to hand. I guess can I use a wooden staff as a stake effectively? Most of my staffs are kind of pointed at the bottom, not super pointed.
Until the stake is removed.
Right.
So
can I throw a staff in there and use that as a stake to keep this thing from reforming?
You would need it to be sharp, like a stake. Just merely wood.
Right, my staffs are not going to be quite
isn't enough. Yeah,
is enough.
I mean, you could sharpen the tip, but
then I will use. I don't have time to do that at the moment, so I will actually then use my third action to try and figure out the proper way to kill these things. But I will say out loud, we need to stake it somehow.
Okay. I would say you moved and then did 2 recalls. So it's all 3.
You're right. Yeah, that is all 3.
Okay. But you state that out loud. Are you guys... I'm actually going to just drop you guys out of turn order if you're not going after the other vampires.
Not at the moment, unless they want to come back and fight some more.
No.
Okay. So as long as nobody's running off and doing things that require action order.
Not totally sure how long it takes
the
vampires to reform.
The vampiric mist of the one that you just destroyed in the flames floats up towards the raised dais in the back of the room, the platform, and flies into up against the wall, and starts to kind of fold itself into a narrow shape, and slips into a little slit in the wall.
I don't have a way to follow that one, but that's not the one I'm worried about. Does anybody have a stake? I mean, we've got our tent supplies. I don't know if I've got wooden stakes for keeping my tent in place. Could we grab a wooden stake from our yurt setup?
We may be able to. We have a knife. We have plenty of knives. We may be able to sharpen something.
Well, sure. I just don't know how much time we have.
Sure.
Is everything all
Asher,
right?
Do you have...
Morgiv is just peeking out from around the pillar.
For the moment.
Maybe.
The creature is some kind of vampire, and it's defeated, but it's not dead. I'm going to think about how long it would take. How long does the reformation process generally take for vampires?
It's fairly slow. It's on the order of hours.
Days? Hours?
Yeah, hours.
Okay. Some of them were defeated, others escaped. How many of your people have been turned in this way? Do you know?
Oh, sorry. Once the body is reformed, so it takes a couple hours for the body to fully reform, and then once it's fully reformed, its natural healing will kick in and start to give it HP back. And at any point in that time, it could wake up, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, you've got hours.
Presumably, if we were
That's what-
standing over it and we started to see it have a body, we could just stab it a bunch more times. But that
Yes,
would take
correct.
constant vigilance.
We also need to find a way to stop it from coming back ever. So
Yep.
we need to stake it.
So I have a question for Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like this would be up to you. I have the any tool, but it says I can turn it into anything I want, but that the wooden part is meant to be a handle. Could I, in theory, make the handle sharp? Or would it... That would be a no-go.
Let me look at it. Some ash rod.
I have a whittling knife if you want to borrow it.
Transforms the wooden part into a haft and the metal caps into this tool. So I think the little wooden bit is always just a handle, and it's only the metal parts that transform, unfortunately.
Okay. So I can't transform any tool.
Well, the wood can transform into a large hand, like a two-handed.
Yes.
tool
Yeah, it can
handle.
kind
Yeah.
of extend, but
I could make a whittling knife or a chisel.
Yeah, that seems like is there anything wood? Probably not sitting around here.
No, but we
furniture,
can just make
shelves.
wood with the chest if we really need to.
so the room
that's
itself is entirely barren. There's not a single piece of wood to be found. The braziers around the room are all metal. The floors and walls are stone. Columns are stone.
Morgiv, do you know where we could find some
Oh.
pieces of wood to fashion into stakes?
Yes. You mean like pointy, sharp devices? Yeah. Yes, I could. Morgiv is good at that. I can do that. I can find this for you.
Okay, or maybe Asher could take one of his arrows and just take the arrowhead off and sharpen the end of the arrow.
That's stake size. It's like stick size.
Maybe.
You might need Asher, you think that you'd need maybe 5 arrows to be a sufficient enough stake.
I can
5 arrows
bundle
bundled
them.
together.
Oh, my little arrows.
But I was trying to ask Morgiv, how many of his people were turned, if he knows?
I am unsure. Many have gone missing these past years. It's been hard to
Likely
keep track
more
of.
than the 4.
Yes, I suspect that many are lost to us now, though. Sometimes we find their corpses in the tunnels. Pale
The creature had
illusion.
turned at least. The creature had turned at least these four that were here into presumably thralls, and they may be able to be saved if we can destroy the main one entirely.
Oh, I see.
As
That's
it is.
good news. That's wonderful news.
Maybe.
Greshy, I assume you
It'll
stopped
take quite a
focusing
lot
on
of-
this fire.
Oh, I let that go.
It would still take quite a lot of time and effort for them to be able to resume their lives.
Well, if anyone would be able to save them, it must be you, saviors.
And let's keep thinking about how to permanently destroy a vampire. Do we know any methods? Destroy its coffin, maybe?
Well, let's start with figuring out the stake situation. That will give us a bit more time.
We have the time to think.
Yes, let's figure out the stake situation, stop it, and then we have more time to figure out the rest of it. But it's no use worrying about figuring out how to kill it finally if we let it come back to life first.
I'm thinking it might take longer to make a stake, and also I can't make a stake right now. So I'm going to
Asher, if
think
you
about-
can loan me those arrows and give me about 10 minutes, I can fashion something together.
Sure. Take some arrows. I'll hand you 5 arrows. A little bundle.
As Greshy is a scrounger and has the scrounger dedication, you can craft temporary items out of anything, anywhere with whatever materials happen to be on hand. So using these arrows to use as some sort of wood and whatever else I've got, I'm going to attempt to fashion something stake-like, sufficient enough to keep this thing dead.
And you said that only takes you 10 minutes, so...
10 minutes to do the initial crafting check.
Okay, go ahead and give me the crafting check. This one's fairly easy. It's a pretty mundane item.
I mean, it's 45. I think I'm okay.
45? Yeah, you are a legendary crafter. You very quickly and easily, you actually only end up needing to use 3 of the arrows. You use 3, break them in half, and now you've got 6 effectively. You borrow Asher's. Oh, actually, no. You still have your own whittling knife, I think.
I do.
You very quickly start carving up the edges to sharpen them into kind of one bigger stake, and you've bound them together with some loose pieces of fabric from your outermost robes that got damaged a little bit in the fight. And now you've basically assembled this kind of looks like almost a large pencil.
It'll do.
During that time, let's bring Rock out of the bag of holding, and he and I will discuss what we know about vampires.
There you go. Talk to the smart bird.
Okay, you pull Rock out of the bag.
Hello, friend.
And he'll actually
There's,
sit up on the platform as he looks down over you guys.
Careful, there's a vampire in the wall behind you there.
Rock turns and looks at the wall. Can you give me a perception check from Rock's POV?
Sure. Perception from Rock. There we go. He has a 40 on that.
Rock looks over at the wall and responds back in Celestial. Yes, Brother Gunn. I see some kind of indentations here. Holes, slots of some kind. Is that what you are referring to?
That may be both the activation mechanism, if there's a way to open it, or simply a gap that they can slide through. But yes,
he kind of
less worried about
hops up
pursuing...
and walks over towards one and leans his head over into it. I can see inside slightly. They look like cubby holes, chambers. Small, but
How deep?
not very. It could fit One of your size, perhaps. Inside. And then he turns and comes back to the edge of the platform. To look back
we
at
know
you
that
all.
vampires retreat to their coffins, and it seems that there's in that wall, perhaps, and this creature's may in fact be this hole here. Does that seem correct?
It looks down and I see. Give me he has his own religion check, right? Religion
His modifier is 24.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that for me,
like.
then. Yeah, sure.
He has a 31.
31. He kind of ruffles his feathers and that it seems makeshift, but I imagine that is its coffin. If you wish to stop it, a normal vampire, he kind of like tilts his head after he says the word normal. You would need to sever its head and anoint it with holy water while it has been staked. But that thing, and he is clearly looking down into the pit where you can see the body of the creature is slowly starting to take shape. I'll rotate it so you can kind of see his face in there.
It's clearly something different, yes.
Perhaps
So as
holy
far as
water
I
and
know-
a stake is enough if the creature is all head.
What was this creature before it became a vampire? A vampire is a modifier. It doesn't turn you into a squid decapod.
Is that for
Probably.
the GM, or are you talking to Rock?
Probably. Is this potentially something more powerful than a normal vampire? Or was it something else before it became vampiric? And I want to make more knowledge checks to figure out what
Okay.
this
This would
is and was.
be an occultism check.
Ooh.
Ooh. Untrained there, but
Or religion. I would allow religion too.
all right. Well, religion is currently at 24.
24,
for me, so it'd be
so
at 29.
29 if you're going at the religion angle. Yeah, I mean, you would know that vampires don't normally turn into giant 10-legged octopuses.
Yeah, I think the first question is that because it was a 10-legged octopus to begin with, or is that something?
That's your-
is this
that's your
something other
guess.
than vampirism? Okay.
Yeah, it's either, your guess is that it's either a creature that looked like this beforehand and has just got vampiric powers, or like naturally, or
Okay.
it became a vampire somehow.
Okay.
But you're not familiar with what this
All right,
creature is. It just looks like a big octopus to
Okay.
you.
Okay. But it does seem like its vampirism is the ordinary sort. I guess it did respond to all of the usual weaknesses. Silver, good damage. Yeah, I think staking it is the first step. So let's do that.
Okay. As you say that, Greshy's got the stake in hand, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Asher can hop down in there.
Sure.
Hold your breath. If it's still, don't breathe it in.
Tasty.
Don't breathe the vampire.
Ooh, it's tasty. You want me to hop in with the
Asher.
steak?
Asher, I mean that.
I see you're
Remember-
all grossed out by the blood.
Remember what happened
Whee!
last time we...
Oh, there goes Asher. All right.
Asher drops down, not having grabbed the stake yet.
No, wait. Greshy, give me the steak. Drop it down.
Hang on. How far down is it?
Ooh, it's mushy down here.
It actually turns out it's 30 feet down. But obviously Asher's fine. You
Sure.
land in the kind of squishy. It's almost like landing on a pillow, but it's a pillow of blood.
It's soft.
All right. So I'll gently toss the stake down so that Asher can hopefully not get stabbed by it.
Yeah, Asher.
Oh boy.
It's more my concern as I'm like, oh. you won't
Asher's
think
got
that
good
happens,
enough reflex save. I won't even require reflex. No, actually, roll it. Reflex.
Yeah. What if I get a
Doesn't Asher have
munchie?
Catfall?
Give me my catch.
but Asher has
Legendary.
catfall, but does Asher have pratfall?
Wee.
It's like inverse
Oh, this
catfall.
Oh.
Is catching.
I see. Catching something. I
I
forgot.
catch it in my mouth.
Yeah, you very,
Perfect
very
catch.
easily. Sure, you go for it with your mouth. Why not? Snatch it out of the air like a dog.
Oh no.
Just kind of bounces like a bouncy castle.
Wing.
Oh, unpleasant.
All right. I hold the steak and I'm looking at it. That's interesting.
In like the center, I suppose.
Where do you think its heart is?
This would be a medicine check.
I'm very medical.
Can I don't know if I could assist or not or aid from here.
Sure. Yeah, you could.
I'll just-
other people could aid. Yeah.
I will aid Asher and just start pointing at things. And it's not
Wow.
great, but maybe it helps. 38.
38 is a critical success on an aid, so that's you're a master. That's a +3.
Alright, I'll take my own +3 as well with my points.
Okay.
We for a 40
Nice. Makes that an even 40.
to find its heart. Where is it?
Okay. Well, you try to look around. You're like describing what you're seeing down here, and Greshy's like trying to imagine what this creature's anatomy could be. Like you're seeing parts of its anatomy like start to form, and you're like trying to guess at which of these things would connect to form the heart. And after a moment, you spot what you think might be its heart, and go for a stab.
Late.
And there's like a shuddering moment underneath you, Asher, as the whole thing just shudders. It vibrates for a brief moment and then kind of like falls still. It doesn't it was reforming, but now it's just stopped, and it kind of just sits there in stasis. It doesn't get more loose. It doesn't
Just
form
stays.
more. It's just kind of stuck there in this kind of I'd say it's like 1/3 of its like full form currently. It's kind of this bloody jelly.
Give Derek
Probably
Greshy a
need
thumbs up.
Holy water.
So I might need Brock's help for that, actually. Maybe he could help.
Maybe. How could we make holy water?
Holy water. I know there's rules for it. Let's see.
There's an item. Well,
Normally there's a spell that crafts holy water.
I know that there's a feature for some classes. It doesn't say there's anything specific required to craft holy water.
It is just a magical item. Yeah.
It's a not even one.
Oh, it's not even magical.
Really magic.
Technically.
It's just it's water that's been
It's
blessed.
just to be
That's
blessed. Yep.
it. So Rock
so
or Gunn, you two maybe.
Either one of us could potentially bless some water.
Not the gross water.
That might take, I guess, a few
That would
minutes.
just make it normal water.
Presumably it's not just like you say, you're blessed.
Yeah, without the feat, I think there's a feat that just lets you make it faster.
Hmm.
I think the holy water feat's related to like certain kinds of sorcerer, angelic sorcerer can do is their blood to make it certain ways.
I am an angelic sorcerer.
That's a feat though, I think specifically.
Okay, I see.
Oh, is it blessed water? Blessed water.
Something like that.
That was the first edition version.
Blessed blood. Is it blessed blood?
Blessed
I don't
blood?
have that.
No, it's not. It's not that. Sorry, I was
Okay.
mistaken. I don't know what I'm remembering. I might be remembering something entirely wrong. But the point
So
is,
you-
at least the
you think
item
about
holy
it.
water is just.
Yeah, you think there must be some way to do it, but you don't immediately remember how. You'd have to think about it and figure it out. It'd take you at least a few hours to work out the process. But you think
Okay.
you're pretty sure you should be able to. It's something that you remember seeing Mother Takets do a couple of times, but again, you didn't pay super close attention, so you have to try and dredge it up and work it out with rock, perhaps.
Okay, let's start on that. But should we wait here to do that? Should we camp here? That other vampire, we may want to take him too.
Well, if we can get to him. I agree though. Let's not go too far from here for now.
Yeah, if the stake will keep that vampire from coming back, the other 2, 3 will likely stay away.
Mhm.
If their master is stake. Thinking the
That's-
master might have temporarily freed them.
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
Well, in the meantime, how do we make holy water?
Let's
Well,
rest here and
figure that out.
I'll
All right.
get to work on that.
So, as the group tries to, well, I guess Gunn and Greshy and Rock try to sort that out, Ash, are you climbing back out of the hole, or are you just chilling out there?
Kind of nice in this hole.
That's the castle.
Squishy. It's comfy.
You give it a few test
I'll-
jumps.
Boing, boing. All right, I'll climb out of the hole.
Okay.
To the best of my ability. Let's see.
I mean, you have the
I have assurance.
assurance, right? So with assurance, you can
Flip.
pretty safely climb out and pull yourself up. And though you feel a bit drained, for lack of a better word, the room has largely gone quiet. Morgiv just kind of wanders over as you guys are in thought, trying to think about what you could do to craft some holy water. And I think that will be where we end the session for tonight. You did it.
Sort
You're
of?
only
Kind
sort of scathed, I suppose. Half scathed. You're alive. If
We're actually
drained.
doing all right, all things considered.
Yeah, not so
Greshy's
bad.
fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hope you guys had fun. Thank you all for joining us. We'll hopefully be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Oh, is there a birthday? Happy birthday.
My sister, who's here in the.
Yeah.
Birthday.
Well, happy
Chat.
birthday to your sister.
Happy birthday. All right. Well, that's all I got. Peace. Goodbye.
Good night.
Hand gestures.